Alright. Hello everybody. Karunic here. I am trying something a little new and a little bit more, hopefully entertaining for you guys. So this is going to be a non-streamed playthrough of Labyrinth at Touhou. Technically this is Labyrinth at Touhou 2, but it was branded in the West as just Labyrinth at Touhou 1 because the first one never officially came out here. Anyway, I'm going to be trying to capture most of this game without capturing all of the grinding and stuff like that. My goal will be to get all the dialogue, all the character joining, examples of regular enemy fights, but not too many of them, all the boss fights, including a little bit of, fiddling on my part when necessary, and all the puzzle elements to demonstrate all of those. I'll be looking at character stats, boss strategies. I'll be highlighting some funny item descriptions, and also some interesting achievements. And, well, I hope you enjoy. I don't want to make this intro too long, so we will just get going here. So we are given here a choice to set the difficulty to hard mode. We will not be playing on hard mode because we're not going to be playing on hard mode. So we'll just hit no here. That sets us up into the main game. As you can see, we've got nice little intro dialogue. Long story short, missing magic sword, appearing giant tree, and 4 people going to investigate. So what we'll do is we'll first start looking around the different things that we can do here in town, starting from the top. So here at the Hakure Shrine, we will be leveling up characters and also using some special items to buff their abilities. Additionally, we can de-level characters and unify levels for boss fights. The reasoning for that will be clear a little bit later. One little note, isn't the HD art of all these characters beautiful? It's wonderful. Alright, next place. So here at Patchouli's Magic Library, we can level up character stats without needing experience, but using money instead. There are a lot of dungeon crawlers that allow you to turn gold into experience points, but this one has a different plan, basically. It's a completely separate set of upgrades, so we'll be trying to use this a lot to help us out in boss fights. Next! So here at the Human Village, we can change our party. As of right now, we only have 4 characters, so we don't need to worry about that too much. But you can also register current party formations and as favorites and stuff like that. You can also remove equipment from characters not in the party. In this game, you get to put up to 12 people in the party. Basically, your front row and 2 back rows, and you can swap them around in battle. And of course, this being a Touhou game, there's a very large cast of characters that we will get to play along with us. And yeah, that is all for the Human Village for now. Next. So here at Neatery's workshop, we will be buying equipment, selling items, and eventually we'll be manufacturing items. So this is a useful place. We'll be spending a lot of money here. Next! Here at the school, we have access to the Bestiary and the achievements. We'll be looking at those in more detail later, but for now, let's move on. Here's the entrance to the Great Tree. Right now we only have one option to enter, and that's at the bottom of floor 1, but later on we'll get a bunch more places to enter into the tree. My understanding is that there's 40 floors in the Great Tree and an infinite labyrinth for the truly hardcore. But let's move on. Here at Aku's house, we have Aku being a little bit net meta, but she also gave us a very nice item, our very first treasure chest key. Aside from that, we'll be saving and loading data from here. And with that, we will start our first foray into the dungeon. We'll look at characters and stuff in more detail a little bit later. Let's get to some actual gameplay. Alright, let's get started. I think there's a little story here as we walk in, but this is main gameplay. So one thing I will note is that the banter in this game is quite good. And, yeah. So this first area, it kind of plays just like a regular RPG. It's not too complicated. You don't have to worry too much about, elements and stuff like that. So I'll show a couple of the fights here and there, but our goal right now is to explore this first floor. So, worth noting, you see how the encounter rate is gradually increasing as we move around? That's going to tell us basically when we can expect to get into fights. And you can force fights with one of the buttons, but we won't quite do that yet. I'll be doing that later when we have to grind. Says the girl who got taken out in 2 hits without moving. So this is how the game manages to kind of minimize resource worrying while still limiting the length of your explorations. As you can see, everybody except Marisa lost just 1 point of TP, and Marisa lost a bunch. And different characters have different maximums for these things, which means that they can be useful for longer or shorter periods in the dungeon. Anyway. Alright, here's our first red exclamation point. Let's see what this is. Well, that wasn't so bad, but we do have to watch out for, some of them will have fights, some of them will have new characters, other events, some puzzles and things like that. So, anyway. Alright, let's see what we've got here. So characters, you will meet many Touhou characters in this game, and not all of them will be ready and raring to join you. So that'll be another puzzle aspect of the game, figuring out what they want and how to get them to join. If you notice the consecutive battles thing over on the right, as you fight more in the dungeon in a given run, you will get bonus experience, money, and spoils drops. So it's good to kind of try to stay in here as long as you can when you're in here. It's worth noting that since your TP are so limited early in the game, that it makes sense to kind of use up a bunch of MP and just kind of get the battles done as quickly as possible. Alright, another red exclamation point. Let's see what we got. Poor Kogasa. She's lost her umbrella-ness, and she's terrified of Reimu and Marisa. So one issue is that I was putting people with lower hit points in front. That's where they defaulted to end up, but probably it's better to put them in the back. Also, you'll note that I accidentally hit the Y button or triangle for the PlayStation controller, and our encounter rate just went up to 200%, so next fight. It's worth noting that Rinnosuke, even though he got knocked out, I think he still gets experience for the fight. Okay, looks like we've got a green exclamation point. Let's see what this is. So it's treasure. It's sub-equipment. There's going to be main equipment and sub-equipment for characters. The sub-equipment is much larger in number than main equipment. Anyway. So we're going to put the cantrip book on Marisa for now because she has the highest magic, so since it's a percentage raise, this gives us the most effect, the most bang for our buck. So we just saw what happens when TP runs out. Rinnosuke and Marisa have both left the party. So we'll move just a little bit more, and then we will use the convenient Leave Dungeon button to get back to town in a hurry. It looks like we just got our first achievement, an energy gem as a reward. So as you can see here, everybody got the same amount of experience despite a couple people getting knocked out and getting revived at the end of a battle. As long as you don't continue going around with the people after they've left the party, they still get the experience. So it's worth noting there that everybody takes different amounts of experience to level up. And so therefore, even though we have everybody getting the same number of points, they're going to level up at slightly different rates. The other thing worth noting is that every time you level up, you get to apply a point to one of the, I guess it's 6 main attributes. And it's a slow process, so we'll be seeing a lot of this, or at least I'll be cutting out most of this because it becomes necessary to de-level and re-level and swap these points around later on for boss fights. So most of this will be cut out, but I wanted to show a little bit of it to get us started. So here at Patchouli's Magic Library, you can level up an additional set of stats compared to what you can do with plain level ups. But they're expensive. The ones that aren't base are expensive. You'll also note that speed doesn't necessarily go up with each level. Speed is a weird stat. Even though it's above 100 for everybody, it only levels up very slowly. So you end up having to dump a bunch of levels into speed to actually increase it. Right now, we're doing alright, so we're not going to worry about spending any money here for the most part, but you can see that this gives us the ability to also upgrade people's resistances to different types of damage. Note that it's a percentage type thing, so while each level for something that already is above 100% goes up, 1 per level, when we look at something that isn't at 100%, it takes more than 1 level to get it to go up 1 point. Items are expensive. We can't afford any main equipments at this point. And even the sub-equipments would take up most of our money at this point for the basic ones. So we won't be spending the money quite yet either. We're going to save up a little bit. This first level of the dungeon is pretty simple to go through. It's just going to take a little time. So let's take a quick look at the achievement system. What did we get? What did we do? Oh, we finally walked a total of 200 steps. That gave us an energy gem. This also reveals conditions and stuff and rewards for achievements that are next to it. It's kind of a neat system. The more achievements you get, the more you learn about what other achievements both give you and require. And as you can see, some of them are quite significant. And they go from as simple as win 50 battles, 200, 1,000, and so on, to number of times that you escape battles, number of times you get defeated, playtime, etc. There's a lot of achievements here. We've got, what, 104 here? And then there's actually a set of plus achievements, an additional 52, that are for, like, end game or long game stuff. In theory, if I wanted to, I could just turn this game on and leave it running in the background for 256 hours, or a little under 11 days, and I could get these two straight off. But we might end up doing that at some point, but I definitely won't be recording that. Also worth looking at, now we actually have some entries into the Bestiary. Small Kadama, Nut Eater, Enormous Wasp, Kuro Nut. And we get to see what all of their affinities and resistances to ailments are. This is very useful for tuning your team for exploring. It's not very useful against bosses because, well, they won't be in the Bestiary until you beat them. I think. They might... You know what? We're going to find out eventually, but we're going to find out whether they show up after you get beaten by a boss as well. We also have a set of species modifiers, kind of a Pokemon-esque kind of thing going on there. Anyway, let's get back to the Great Tree, and we'll keep exploring. Alright, we've got another red exclamation point. Let's see what we've got here. We've got our second tsundere response from Yomu. First was from Parsi. We've got Yuyuko being very mercurial as usual. Every character has nice personality in this game. So, our first bit of battle spoils. Enemies will drop materials. Later on, we'll be able to use those with Neatery to make equipment and stuff, but not quite yet. Also worth noting, since the green exclamation points are usually treasures, it's good to hunt them down as quickly as possible. That way you can buff your team a little bit better, more quickly. Alright, another red one. Let's see what we got. It's nice that they keep the verbal tics from the characters in the the real Touhou games in this. That's a nice little bit of effort that they made. Rumia's Waha is an example of that. Alright, our first additional party member. We've got Inubashiri Momiji, who is a White Wolf Tengu, and she is a, well, kind of like a mostly melee character. Good for frontline defense and offense. Alright, another useful sub-weapon. Also worth noting... Oh wait, is it a sub-weapon? Hold on, let's check this real quick. No, it is a main weapon. It increases HP recovery rank rate. Since he's taking the most damage, yes, we'll give it to him. Also worth noting, all of the spots on the floor have different colors depending on whether they still need more exploration or not. That doesn't mean that you need to walk in every individual spot. As you've been seeing, some of those orange spots go away when I check all of their also outputs. So as we can see, Marius's MP are down, but you can use the Concentrate ability to increase MP. It's different for every character, so it's worth testing out. If you noticed there, when Rinosuke used First Aid, he got his second turn again right afterwards. Every attack has a different amount of delay that it puts into the character, so you have to pay attention to that as well. Oh look, it's our first boss icon. It shows level 3. Level 3 is the recommended level. It's a little more complicated than that. Here's what's going on. If you have an average level above 3, when you fight that, you'll miss out on some opportunities for some special bonuses. And so the goal is to always fight these at or below the level they're recommended, even if you have to de-level your characters to do it. But we're going to be avoiding that for now because we're only level 2, plus the more of a team you can put together, the better off you usually are. Hey, it's Remy. And Rinosuke is out, so we are headed back. So, more Dragon Quest references. But now we actually have some people to add at the Human Village. Or I guess some people is probably exaggerating. We have Momiji to add at the Human Village. So we can register 3 different favorite sets of parties, which will be handy later on. And another Dragon Quest reference. Sniper's Stick, of course, is the basic weapon that showed up in as the basic lowest level weapon in, I think, most Dragon Quest games? So these 3 spots are treasure chests that require keys to open. But we're not going to open them right now because the treasure keys are extremely limited. And so what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get as far as we can without using keys. And then when we decide we need to use keys, we'll get the ones that are furthest up first and move back if we actually have extra keys. There's something ironic about the fact that the Miko's board is more useful for Marisa, and the Cypress Stick, Magic Wand, is better for Reimu. So the Great Tree's Leaf is probably another Dragon Quest reference, right? I mean, there's a Great Tree Leaf in Dragon Quest III, for instance, that revives a dead character. In this game, it's just a material. And of course, we're in a Great Tree, so it's appropriate. Yay, more tutorial. But well done tutorial. A bit challenging at the level. Oh, you'll see. You'll see. It's an understatement. So the rewards for beating bosses at challenge levels are pretty good, but they're not amazing or super ultra rare or anything like that. So we'll be trying to do challenge levels as much as possible, but there may be some cases where we decide to just kind of push forward, just like the game says. Let's not make a requirement out of it. So here's the way to the boss, but we're already pretty weakened. And we're not even at level 3 yet entirely, and we've lost Renosuke so far. He ran out of TP. So we'll come back to this boss when we get a chance. That's another thing that I like about this game, is it doesn't really push you directly, but it pushes you indirectly. But we'll be ready for this boss at level 3, I think. So Aya flew away, but hopefully we'll get her in the party soon. It's funny, all of the other yokai are just running around like, oh yeah, we can just run through this dungeon really fast. Whereas our group, we have these TP things to worry about that require us to leave and come back repeatedly. Oh well, I guess that's how this game's gonna go. Enemies with really high defense like that are actually pretty common in this game. And so until you get a significant victory as far as like attack power or magic power goes, you'll need to be very careful about them and try to save some MP for them, or at least have a character with the proper element to take them out. So a lot of yokai will have requirements for joining the team. We just found one. This is a reason why it's good to kind of save some money. We can go buy some manga meat and get another team member before we try fighting that boss. We thought you would know. So we don't even have enough money to get the manga meat that we need. We do have one equipped, but is it worth sacrificing one that's equipped to get Rumia? It might be. But we need to grind a little bit more, get some cash. So we'll do that, and we'll just keep pushing forward. So it's worth noting that characters do gain stats when they level, regardless of where you put that bonus point. This is also something that I think you can fiddle around with a little bit later in the game, but as you can see, everybody gains a little bit for a level, plus the extra point. So we've got another boss here for the first floor. This one's a level 4 recommended. So there's going to be multiple bosses per floor. They're going to have different level requirements, but in general they're going to step up in a reasonable way, for the most part. Roadblocks are an issue. They're going to be puzzle elements that we have to do. Either get the right character, or bring the right item, or find something elsewhere in the dungeon to clear out these blockages. So we just found one copy of Items Discovery Weekly. That's always nice. This is a special item that we can just carry around, and it increases the enemy's item drop rate. We're going to try to collect as many of these as we can and just stack them all up. Noting, of course, that we can only stack up to 50% increase or 25 items. We can sell any extras if we ever have them. Also, this is an energy gem. There's going to be a lot of special items that can increase characters' stats at the Hakurai Shrine. They are also special and rare items, so we'll be saving them until we really need them. So, we got Yomu's sword back from Chirno, but it is important to note that Yomu's icon is no longer just a red exclamation point. It is now a level 5 type boss, which puts it above the level 3 and the level 4 boss also on this level. As you can see from the full map, we've explored all the areas that we can kind of get around to. There aren't any of those light red spaces that indicate that we can further explore that area of the level. So it's time for us to get started on bosses. And in order to do that, we're going to want to grind a little bit to get Rumia on the team, which shouldn't take too long. And then we're going to want to take out the level 3 boss, the level 4 boss, and the level 5 boss in order. So let's give it a shot. Or at least I'll cut in those things as we do them. Another thing I wanted to do is check on Parsi real quick. She didn't have a very clear idea of what she needed to join us, so we'll just check and see what she's up to. Marisa knows exactly how to be convincing to Parsi, huh? Or not. Two more achievements and some more cleared up, so we'll know what they are. Alright, so we bought 2 manga meat. We took Rinosuke's off of him, so we should have 3, so we should be able to get Rumia now. So we got Rumia. Worth noting here, you can see that we're missing some people, so we're going to be filling in these things irregularly. It's kind of a weird thing if you don't have this character. All the characters have set numbers, and so if you're missing, say, character 6 and you get character 8, then it gives you some open slots. Not really any effect on the game, it's just kind of an interesting menu issue. Alright, so we're here at the level 3 boss, we're fresh, but I wanted to point something out. Of course, in this game, you'll be fiddling around with characters' levels all the time. You'll be raising them and lowering them and raising them again. And you'll be trying to make the team that can beat the boss with your average level at this level 3 or lower. So, a trick that you can do for that, of course, is to put like level 1 characters in the team and either not use them or use them as cannon fodder. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that your average level isn't above level 3. Well, the easiest thing to do is to check this screen and make sure that your average party level is the right number. Fortunately, it's right there for you so that you can't screw it up. Anyway, we are fresh. We've got Rumia. We've got our team set up. We're average level 3. We can't get anybody else until we're further along in the game. So this is our party for now. Let's see what happens in this boss fight. yokai exist to be exterminated, she says, with a light smile on her face. Alright, success. We took it out at the right level. One casualty, but that's alright. They'll spend some TP and they'll get their hit points back. We've got some good spoils here. You can see we've got a training manual, we've got an affection gem, and plus some basic materials, and some good materials too. So, we're also picking up Kogas's umbrella, so I guess we'll go pick her up next. Oh, crud. We broke the umbrella. We'll have to fix that, won't we? One thing that is kind of missing is lots of character facial portraits with different expressions. With this expression, it almost looks like a fake smile, doesn't it, considering the line? Well, that's a relief. Alright, let's see what Kogasa has to say. Marisa, we broke it. Shut up! Alright, here's the level 4 boss. We've got our team put together, but getting over here, we did use up some MP, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the rest command. With the rest command, you can rest in the dungeon, you can restore your MP using TP, and since the game encourages you to jump in and jump out and fiddle with the team, we're going to try to do this. And then we're going to fight the boss actually fresh. It's a nice mechanic. Now, as you can see, these enemies aren't actually like special bosses in any sense, but there is a lot of them, and they are quite powerful. But we were able to take them out pretty easily and grab a life gem and a magic gem from them. Alright, we're fresh. We're level 5. Let's see if we can get Yomu on our side. That was the skin of our teeth. Yomu's pretty tough. We were level 5. We didn't have an idea of what her weaknesses and strengths were. If I had brought Kogasa in earlier, this would have been an easier fight. Probably. Maybe. Anyway, we managed to just barely beat her. So we'll see what happens. Alright, that's the 3 bosses on this level down. We'll go pick up Yomu and then we'll see what else we can do on this first floor. Alright, this is the only thing that I can find on the level that is still blocking our progress, so let's check it out. That was easy. There are going to be a lot of things that get in our way. They're all going to have different solutions. This one was simple. Some will be more complicated later. Well, we found some stairs. There's still a little bit of the first floor to explore, but we're gonna, for this episode, what we're gonna show is we're gonna finish off the main parts of the first floor, get to the second floor, and see what's waiting for us there. There'll be probably just a little bit more left in this episode. So, there was a couple of little side areas that were opened up when we got through that ice. But as you can see, I've looked through them all, so let's cut to the stairs to the second floor and see what's over there. Alright, that's our first relay point. We'll be able to jump into the dungeon from here from now on. One more point before we finish up. I just like to note the beautiful little names for each floor. Each one's different, and each one's got its own little thing to it, and they're kind of long and, like, lore-heavy-ish. I don't know. I like that stuff. It reminds me of Etrian Odyssey, right? They always had those like little narrative things before you entered a new stratum. But in this game, we've got 40 levels, and each one has its own name. Yikes. But anyway, that was the first level, or most of the first level. Okay, I thought that the episode was over, but I tried to get back out of the dungeon, and we got another little cutscene, so we'll just throw that in real quick. Okay, so one more achievement. We'll look at that real quick. Adventure 10 times in the dungeon. More than 100 battle points on any character. Amount of times they've been in battle. Doesn't do anything, but it does give us achievements. And then walk a total of 1,000 steps. So those are the achievements we got. The tutorial you just saw was for the thing that we accidentally triggered a little bit earlier, where it bumps the encounter rate up to 200%. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll cut back to the little speech I gave ending the episode, which actually happened earlier, but that's all good. Alright. So we'll call it here for this episode, and we'll pick it up again with continuing stuff in the second floor for the second episode. I think what I'll probably do next episode is do a little in-depth look at character stats. We're going to kind of go through that bit by bit so we don't get too much information overload. Anyway, this has been my first effort at kind of a slightly more high-effort Let's Play. So I hope you all have enjoyed this, and yeah, check in for the next episode, hopefully next week. I'm not going to try to rush it, and I'm probably going to have to do some grinding here and there. So this is going to be a little bit haphazard on the timing of episodes, but anyway, hope you enjoyed, and see y'all later.